Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to episode 17 of Koenigsegg Dagbok. And today we're going to be talking about the Koenigsegg Gemera, which initially made its debut in March of 2020, where of course it was a proper grey and yellow accented car, with the fact that it didn't have a proper Koenigsegg V8 but a complete in-house developed twin turbo 3-cylinder engine with a complete hybrid powertrain that made 1700 horsepower. But although it came with the fact of no V8 but instead it had a 3-cylinder, that completely weirded people out. But with the fact that this was a proper 2-door 4-seater family hauler from Koenigsegg, that completely got everyone hyped up, and the magic number of 1700 horsepower definitely got everyone on that side. And well, that on its own was completely monstrous. But what came further on as the proper production version 3 years later was something not just as monstrous as the 1700 horsepower initial Gemera, but something far superior, far monstrous, because it came with a V8. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, two proper variants are to go into production, i.e. the TFG, the tiny friendly giant, and the hot V8, the HV8. Yes guys, this is probably getting a V8, but not just any V8, and we'll get into that in a bit. But of course, starting off the proper TFG, i.e. the tiny friendly giant, which consists of the same twin turbo 3-cylinder engine, and it also comes with the dark matter electric motor, which makes 800 horsepower. The 3-cylinder makes 600 horsepower, giving it a complete combined power output of 1400 horsepower and a maximum torque of 1850 Newton meters. Not at all bad for a 4-seater family hypercar, given the fact that of course, although it's less potent than the initial proper Gemera, the HV8 definitely makes up for it, because of course the proper TFG also comes with 4-wheel drive and 4-wheel torque vectoring, a complete proper red line of 8500 RPMs, diagonal synchro helix doors. It's a proper 2-door hypercar of course, and although it's a hypercar, it comes with 4 full-fledged seats on its own, and it also comes with the all-new 9-speed light-speed turbo transmission, which is a completely revamped version of the 9-speed light-speed used in the jesko. We'll talk about that as well in a bit. And now we move on to the main game-changing effect of what made the Gemera from a complete 10 out of 10 into a complete 1000 out of 10, because it doesn't just get any V8. It gets the jesko 5-liter twin turbocharged V8. Yes guys, although it doesn't make 1600 horsepower, it makes 1500 horsepower, which is still a lot. And don't forget the fact that this is a complete 4-seater family hauler, with the fact that you can haul 4 full-sized suitcases in the back, right behind that massive V8, and of course right behind the 9-speed light-speed turbo transmission. And in a car of this nature, 4 full-fledged suitcases to fit into it, well, that on its own is completely monstrous. And of course, this also comes with the complete dark matter electric motor. So if you thought 1500 horsepower was the max output, you'd be wrong, because the dark matter motor on its own completely generates 800 horsepower, and well, that completely bumps up the power to 2300 horsepower in a complete 4-seater 2-door mega GT. And yes guys, it is completely rare, no, it's completely unspoken to see of a complete new category emerge in the complete automotive scene. And well, Koenigsegg have officially done it, and I don't remember the last time we ever got a completely new category. And well, here it is, the complete all new mega GT, and well, the hot V8 is properly hot. I mean, you're getting the 5-liter twin turbo V8 from the jesko, and the dark matter electric motor, and the proper specs of that are completely monstrous. 800 horsepower, 1250 Newton meters of torque, and that entire package only weighs in at 39 kilograms, and it's literally as small as this. I wish I had the proper dimensions of it, but here's a proper pic. And I mean, what else could you ask for, guys? You're getting a V8 in proper typical Koenigsegg fashion, with the all new 9-speed light-speed turbo transmission, 4-wheel drive with 4-wheel torque vectoring, and if you were to drive it in complete all-electric mode, it gives you a range of nearly 1000 kilometers. I mean, that's completely bonkers. But of course, the fact is you have to drive at economic speeds, and I'm pretty sure that goes without saying. And I mean, the overall looks of it have been completely changed, with the fact that it's got top-mounted exhaust tips similar to that of the 918 Spider, and well, a lot more. And of course, let's take a listen to the proper twin turbocharged V8 powering the all-new Gemera hot V8. And well guys, although that might not sound like a V8, it is very much the jesko 5-liter twin turbo V8, but this is a pre-production car. Although for the better part of it is completely production spec, it is still a pre-production car, hence it has been restricted to a stationary redline of 4000 RPM, but in a complete production spec, it will redline at 7800 RPM when stationary and 8500 RPM when moving, so that solves all your problems. But nevertheless, the proper grumble of a twin turbo V8 and a Koenigsegg V8 at that will never cease to tire us out. And the fact is, guys, the proper initial Gemera model came with the fact of course that could also store 4 full-size suitcases, but that could store 3 in the back and 1 in the front. But of course now you can store all 4 right in the back behind the 5-liter twin-turbo V8 and the completely reworked 9-speed light-speed turbo transmission. But of course, what happened to the space under the bonnet? Well, now that has got a complete outlet or a vent with a radiator underneath it, thereby improving aerodynamics. Well, if you thought Koenigsegg would leave out aerodynamics out of the equation, even though it's a complete family hauler, it is still a Koenigsegg. So keep that in mind, and they will never leave out the proper ingredients of what is required to make a Koenigsegg. Hence, of course, this also gets a complete 2-door layout, the same diagonal synchro helix doors, which are humongous to begin with, and a proper lush interior, where of course you get your same proper steering wheel, same from the jesko, with the haptic screens and the proper miniature screen attached to the steering on its own, which rotates along with the steering wheel, taken right out of the jesko. You get wireless phone charging, your Apple CarPlay, and your basic tidbits, i.e. creature comforts. But this thing doesn't come with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 8 cup holders. 4 of them are heated, 4 of them are cooled, 4 for the front, 4 for the back. And I mean, what else could you ask for? You also get 2 different individual screens, 1 for the 2 people up front and 1 for the 2 people at the back. I mean, this on its own is a complete running entertainment show to begin with, just to look at that. Meanwhile, you get 4 full-fledged seats, and of course don't forget the fact that it's incredibly rare, or hardly ever do we see in the complete automotive scene, of a complete new emergence of a new category. And well, Koenigsegg are doing it, and I don't remember the last time a completely new category emerged. And well, the proper Mega GT has officially made its debut, and boy is it making a proper ballsy and brash debut. And not to mention the V8, guys, that wasn't supposed to fit in the Gemera, hence that didn't even make it into the initial 2020 variant. But Koenigsegg, in their own typical fashion, just do it, just do the out of the box thing, and well, they found a way to fit it, and it comes with a proper 1500 horsepower power output. And this you can even opt with a wing, but of course I don't have the proper picture of what type of wing it will have, but nevertheless you can get a wing with this, and I'm very intrigued to see what it will look like. And not to mention the fact of the completely reworked 9-speed light-speed transmission, which has completely been reworked, because of course it is completely hard to fit that massive 5-liter twin-turbo V8 on its own. On top of that, they had to fit the all-new 9-speed light-speed, and in order to do that, they completely reworked it in such a way that it now completely revolves around the engine, but of course gives you the exact same perks and shift times such as you get in the jesko. And it's obviously got the exact same number of components, the same 3 sets of 3 gears, the same 7 small multi-disc wet clutches, as small as a size that you could hold in your hand, and of course no external flywheel connecting it to the engine, thereby giving it a complete zero loss of inertia. So it is literally the exact same as the 9-speed light speed, but completely reworked to give it that amount of space, to of course not completely protrude out into the boot space, and of course give it enough space to also store the complete amount of 4 full-sized carry-on suitcases in the back. And of course the complete crumple zones on its own have also been integrated, and of course a complete carbon fiber body to keep it as stiff as possible, the basic Koenigsegg standards on their own. And the way they managed to fit the V8, i.e. the 5-liter twin-turbo V8 and the 9-speed light speed, still goes right over my head, because it is incredibly hard to comprehend. But that is literally Koenigsegg doing their thing. It is their proper benchmark, to just set a benchmark and overdo it. And here's another prime example of that phenomenon, very much present on the Gemera, because of course one of the biggest objectives of Christian for the Gemera was of course to completely make this as spacious as the Porsche Panamera. But Koenigsegg failed, and that's because this isn't as spacious as the Porsche Panamera. It's more spacious than the Porsche Panamera. That is literally is properly Koenigsegg's very own style, and you can see that in every single one of their cars. I mean, it was literally a decade ago when they properly matched the 1-to-1 magic number, the 1360 horsepower to 1360 kilograms on the legendary 1-to-1, and a decade later they're completely redefining what a 4-seater family hauler could be when it is a proper 5-liter twin turbocharged V8 powered with electric assistance, with the fact that it puts out 2300 horsepower right to all 4 wheels. And well, that just shows how far Koenigsegg has come ever since the good old days of the CC8S, and now they've properly evolved into making these types of things and fitting the biggest proper revolutionary engines, gearboxes, or whatever big piece of engineering into a small compact setup, and still making it work and doing it better than most markings out there. And that is the proper standard standard of Koenigsegg, and that literally is just what puts them over the top. And I mean, what do you guys think? And not to mention the fact of the weight, as I said, this thing weighs in at less than a goddamn Chiron Supersport, and well, this is literally the world's most powerful road going homologated car as of right now, 2300 horsepower at the helm. And well, could we see this very much take on the proper Chiron Supersport and completely dethrone it? Where of course, right now the proper record is held by the Chiron Supersport for the world's fastest car at a speed of 304.8 miles an hour. And well, the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute is very much aiming to dethrone that. And well, if you ask me, I very much think the Jesko Absolute will dethrone it. And after it dethrones it, do you guys think the Gemera will come for that record? Well, only time will tell. And of course guys, the word tourbillon itself originates from watchmaking, and that word itself is used in watches which use the most intricate and the most complex internal workings, which sets them apart from the most of the watches that are produced. And thereby that's exactly why that carried on to the Gemera, because of course first off it was incredibly hard to fit that massive 5-liter twin turbo V8. On top of that, they had to also completely rework the 9-speed light speed and completely couple it with the engine and make it fit in such a way such as that to allow the complete boot space to not be reduced in any way whatsoever, and not to even reduce the crumple zones, which are on their own completely integrated. But nevertheless, they managed to do it in their own typical style, and not to mention the fact that it's lighter and better and way more potent with the dark matter electric motor and everything else that goes into it. And that's exactly why the 9-speed light speed is called the light speed turbo transmission in the Gemera. And of course, this exact transmission is present in the TFG and the HV8 with the same 4-wheel drive system and 4-wheel torque vectoring present in both variants. And the better part of everything is present in both variants other than the engine change, where of course the TFG has got the twin turbo 3-cylinder, whereas the HV8 has got the 5-liter twin turbo V8. And of course, not to mention guys, this also comes with 4 miniature clasps on the roof, such that you can attach roof rails or even attach a complete ski box on top of it. And those even come with miniature sensors to keep the car from crossing 300 kilometers an hour while driving with a ski box. So that basically tells you that you can do 299 kilometers an hour with a ski box on the roof in a Gemera. Well, take my money right now, I'm gonna give it. And I mean guys, who's gonna go for the 3-cylinder for a 1400 horsepower, which I'm not at all disrespecting. 1400 horsepower in a 4-seater family hauler is completely monstrous. And of course, that's a 3-cylinder which we don't know the sound of, and of course it won't sound anything like the twin turbo V8 grumble. And of course, not to mention the Jesko V8 on its own that completely propels it with the fact of the 9-speed light speed turbo transmission fully propelling it to all 4 wheels and propelling it in a complete massive torquey way. And well, that's something that the twin turbo 3-cylinder cannot do. Neither can it give you the feel that the proper V8 will give, thereby making the HV8 the proper obvious choice for the better part of the customers. But nevertheless, only time will tell. And of course, we're yet to see what the specs are that a couple of people have gone with. And of course, the main thing that is intriguing me is the wing. I want to see how it looks, because of course this thing has been styled in such a way to look sleek, long and minimal. But with that wing, will it be completely offset or will it just turn it even more monstrous? Well, only time will tell. And of course, not to mention the fact that only 300 of these bad boys will ever be made, thereby making the Gemera the highest production Koenigsegg to be made. Of course, the second one being the Regera, which is of course the first one, and now it's this. But nevertheless, what do you guys think? And of course, the fact of the fuel tank capacity, guys. I mean, this thing has a fuel tank size of 115 liters, which is 25 liters more than what is the fuel tank size in a goddamn Land Rover Defender that sits at 90 liters. This has a capacity of 115 liters, thereby just showing how properly monstrous it is. And not to mention the word practicality, it actually plays a very big role. I mean, 4 seats, a complete full storage space that can store 4 full-sized suitcases on its own. It is a proper practical car on its own, not to mention the fact of the complete 5-liter twin turbo V8, 2300 horsepower right at your disposal. And well, I mean, what else could you ask for in terms of a proper practical car? And of course guys, it comes with a complete power to weight ratio of 1.11 horsepower per kilogram, making this one of the most potent cars out there. And not to mention the proper stuff that makes it a Koenigsegg. Everything that is required is literally present. The proper dihedral synchrohelix actuation does, the proper word practicality actually plays a massive role at that. Not to mention the fact that this is literally the world's most powerful production car, which sits atop with a power of 2300 horsepower, and of course the proper twin turbo V8 that will propel it to properly immense neck breaking speeds. And well, I for one can't wait to see what this thing will do in terms of top speed tests and all, because with that much power and the fact that this is 4-wheel drive with 4-wheel torque vectoring, I can't wait to see what this thing will do on the track either. Well, only time will tell on either occasions. And of course, it comes with a complete carbon fiber body, carbon fiber monocoque with integrated crumple zones, with adjustable and lightweight anti-roll bars in the front and the back, giving this the proper handling prowess that every Koenigsegg presents you with. And it also obviously comes with the Koenigsegg electronic stability control system, your basic stuff that is required in a Koenigsegg to make it a Koenigsegg. And of course, a complete revolutionary automobile on its own, with the fact of the 9-speed light speed, which on its own is a complete revolutionary invention, which has been reworked to completely combine with the 5-liter twin turbo V8 and fit into such a small package. And Koenigsegg, in their own typical fashion, do it on a whole other level. And not to mention the proper dark matter E motor on its own. The TFG, of course, that is really good with 1400 horsepower. And of course, the proper HV8 is the proper option to go with for most people. If you can go for a proper V8 that puts out 2300 horsepower, for the 1400 horsepower one is inadvertently not going to be your option. And of course, do you guys think this will properly dethrone the jesko Absolute in the near future? And well, given the fact of its proper potent engine and all its proper inner workings, and the fact that it's 4-wheel drive with 4-wheel torque vectoring, it could very much take on the track unlike any other car as well. And of course, as I said, only 300 to be made. Well, thanks a lot for watching guys. Remember to that sub button and click the bell to ensure you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching guys. See ya.